This is Brent Gaskey from the FNG Author Podcast. We are doing some short little segments called Field Notes. So the first part of this, part one, was talking about the relationship between Woodrow F. Call and his son Newt in the series Lonesome Dove, and really what I pulled out of that from their last conversation where Call does not give Newt his name. And it was talking about how really we look for easy wins today. We look for immediate payoffs, and that didn't happen in the series. That was one of the things that really, going back through and watching that again with fresh eyes, from an author's perspective and not just an audience perspective, man, it really just struck me. And it was such a cool thing to watch the author and the screenwriters go through and make that decision where we're not going to make this an easy payoff. We are going to define Newt and Call by this decision for him not to give Newt his name. It's hard to watch because it is definitely a thing where, you know, as a man that's led other men, that has, raised sons, it's hard to watch things go wrong, right? You always want to do the best you can for the men around you. But sometimes it just happens. And I think it's one of those things where Woodrow F. Call as a character, the thing that defined him was just his stubbornness and his call to duty and all of those things that if he would have given Newt his name, it would have destroyed that character and it would have made him less, right? And ultimately, the scar that he gave Newt because of not giving him his name is going to now define Newt. And that's what I find really interesting is McMurtry took something that could have easily been a win, a cheap win for both of those characters, and stuck to his guns and said, no, this isn't going to happen. And what that did is that scar became the engine for Newt's change, right? And I think that I am definitely guilty of making those things happen where it's an easy payoff, right? It's easy to say, oh, this bad thing happened, I'm going to fix it and make it better in the next chapter. And that's a loss for your character, right? I've often heard the term that dig your character into the deepest, darkest hole you can possibly put him in and then have him climb out. And I think it's too easy for us to give him a shovel and to give him a ladder, right? So, I'm learning as I go here. And I think, my fellows that are on this podcast with me are doing the same. And, for whatever reason, this just struck me. It just struck me as something that was really interesting to watch and to see happen in such a great way. Tommy Lee Jones and, Rick Schroeder, both just played the characters exceptionally well. And I would say if you guys have never watched Lonesome Dove, I think it's from 1989. So there's probably an entire generation or two that have missed it. It's a little hokey in spots. It's a little TV movie in spots, but they did a great job of kind of just nailing that time period. And it's exceptional writing, exceptional storytelling. And they just did a great job with it. It is a defining thing for America, for Americana. If you're going to watch one thing about the Old West, that is the thing to watch. It's not a happy story. I don't think anybody ultimately gets what they want in the entire film. All of the main characters, there's nobody in there that walks away with roses and sunshine. But it's one of those things where it sticks with you. And I remember watching that as a 18, 19, 20-year-old guy and thinking, man, this is deep. And I went back and I read the book a few years ago, and they stuck pretty close to the book. It's actually pretty good. For whatever reason, westerns they're not a big part of writing anymore. It seems like maybe that's because all of the really good books were written by Louis L'Amour and McMurtry and Elmer Kelton and some of those guys. And I'm not a big western reader. But I do thoroughly enjoy the genre. It's such an interesting genre to go back and like just pick out some of the parts of, right? And my new series Outland Stars definitely has some of that flavor in it. I set the scene at the very beginning where they are on a colony planet, that's been cut off for 400 years, and so their technology has kind of failed back to the point where they are They are probably about where we are now with technology, right? But it's still failing. So making computer chips is hard, and all of those things that kind of make modern life easy are mixed with maybe some of the 1880s, 1900s type tech as well. And, that's the start of the book. And I really wanted to set it that way because I enjoy that time period. And I think it is such a defining thing for a character to come from that. And then ultimately to get reintroduced to a universe where they have faster than light travel and they have, all of these kind of, space age modern conveniences that you find in sci-fi. It's so fun to write that character, Garrett James, because he's a guy who understands it, and he ultimately is picking it out with his AI is helping him and some of those kind of things. But it's one of those things where he comes from a different time and a different world. Yeah, I've really enjoyed writing that, and I'm glad I started that series where I did. I'm looking forward to go back to Cavalry 4, and Garrett is going to at some point go back and talk to his father, which that whole relationship is going to be very much like the Newt and Captain Call, maybe reversed, but we'll see how that goes. So if you guys have a series that you've been wrestling with, or a scene that just defines good character building and good relationship building, throw it in the comments. I would love to hear from you guys what you think, what is ultimately the things that make you a better writer and the things that could probably help all of us. So please throw those in. I'd love to hear back. We would love to have you listen to the podcast. Gary and Will are exceptional guys. They are super fun to hang out with, and I am so glad to be a part of that group. So anyway, thank you guys so much. Hope everybody has a great evening, day, whatever time you're watching this, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.